Hi, folks. I'm Emily.
And I'm Elt.
And we're coming to you live from our mother's basement because basements aren't just for who society tells us basements are for anymore.
Basements are for everyone.
Well said. So, just so you can know a little bit about me, I'm an actress, a sometimes writer, a very avid reader, a theater practitioner, which is a very fancy way of saying I do plays, and a Disney guru, which is what Elt calls me, and I love it. What are you? Who are you?
That is a very good question. So I am an author. I write under the name E.L. Tenenbaum. I'm also a very, very, very avid reader. And I am a sucker for musicals. I'm just going to admit that right now. I'm a sucker for musicals.
Aren't we all?
I don't know. Shouldn't we all be? That's the question. Yeah.
A musical. Anyway, so we are going to talk to you about books and musicals and TV shows, music.
And everything we want to talk about.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those podcasts where we get to talk to you about the things we like, but for a specific purpose.
Right. We are trying to promote clean reads, specifically clean reads, clean C's. Our main focus is going to be on young adult and middle grade, probably literature, film. We might have some pretty bad arguments about adaptations, but we'll see.
Those will be fun.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, stay tuned. So part of that is that we also create a rating system so that you can make your own informed, intelligent choices about all the stuff that's out there, because you don't have to be an authority to just say what to share your perspective about these things and to give people information about making good choices about the media they're consuming.
Yeah, and there's a rating system for video games and movies, but there isn't really a rating system for books or for plays, right? I mean, there are reviews and there are there's young adult, there's middle grade, there's new adult. So there are different sections in literature, but there aren't real ratings. And within young adult, there's such a range of what might be comfortable for one person and completely uncomfortable for another.
Right. So this is for readers and consumers and also for parents, so you know what's behind the pages of the book your kid's reading right now.
But we're not condemning anything. People can write things as explicit as they want or as unexplicit. That's I'm an English major. That's a word. And that's fine. We will talk about probably all of it. We're just going to let you know what the different media contain so that you can then make the choice. Ooh, I'm not really in the mood for something super violent, so maybe that's not the book that I want to read right now or ever. Or, oh yeah, I'm super into romance, so that's what I'm headed towards.
Right. We aim to be very respectful to the writers because, again, everyone can write what they want. That's First Amendment. Differing opinions is not a breach of the First Amendment. Okay, so differing opinions is going to be there. If we make a mistake about something, just be very nice when you correct us. Okay, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say that, because that's our job.
Yes.
And there's a good chance we're going to end up rambling or ranting about something.
A very good chance.
Very, very good chance. And just in general, we're sharing information. We're raising the we're creating the conversation.
Yeah. And hopefully also bringing awareness to some books or movies or TV shows that you might not have heard of. Some of the not as big ones.
Yeah, correct.
To help you and to help us figure out which books work, we created a grading system, essentially. We're not just doing A, B, C, D, F. Why was there never an E, by the way? Why did they skip straight to F?
I have no
What logic was that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but we're not doing that. We've made up our own grading system. We're calling it pearl clutching. So the higher the number, the more pearls one would have to clutch
in approaching these reads.
Yes. So we have 3 different scales.
Yes. So, for example, our first scale is our romance scale. So if there are no pearls to be clutched, that means that the book or the film, whatever it is absolutely clean. Any reference to romance or anything that falls within that is very minimal and very tame. Tame being an operative word. If there's 1 pearl to be clutched, if you got a 1 on the scale, that means that there might be some kissing described. It's not gone into any detail. It's reference is put in there. Also, there's a big focus on crushes, especially if you're talking about middle grade or young adult, and there's a lot of talk about someone having a crush on somebody else, so that's going to be your one pearl. Two pearls is that if the kissing is much more descriptive, especially if there's a make out and it's just going on and on and on, or what we feel like is on and on and on. And also the frequency of it. So if there's a lot of kissing, and whether or not, however much it's described, so that's gonna get two pearls to be clutched. Yeah. And then if it's a three, so three full pearl necklaces being clutched means that there's a reference or some sort of intimation of a couple sleeping together, whether or not they're married. Just if it's there, we're telling you. And also if there's descriptive touching. So if they just sit on those things too long, then we'll let you know. And then number 4, which is the ultimate of pearl clutching experiences, is if it goes into any explicit descriptions of touching or sleeping together or anything like that. If it gets explicit, that's it, off the charts, pearl clutching. And this is not on the scale, but supplemental to our scale is that we're going to also mention what sort of relationships are in the book, as in if it's a male-female or if it's a male-male, female-female.
Or married versus boyfriend-girlfriend.
Correct. Thing. Any of these things, we're just mentioning it so that way you'll have this information to make your choices.
Yes. So that's the romance. Our next scale is language. So a 0 is clean or tame. No bad words. You can bring this book to your first grade class and read it out loud to the students. Not a problem. 1 pearl clutched is if the words hell or damn or something along those lines. Because they're, especially, in older literature, they use words like that with more frequency, but you probably wouldn't want to read it in front of little kids. And if you are particularly religious, it might bother you. So that's 1 pearl. 2 pearls is crassness. It's like low-level swearing. So like crap or ass. I'm sorry. I know
clutching a pearl.
just to explain it, it's crass language. It's not super bad. You might say it in front of your parents, but it's not the best language. 3 pearls is once we get into the S word and things along. The S word sort of seems to be in its own category because worse words are like way worse, but the other words are but that word, and especially how it's used. If a word is used, if a character stubs their toe and they say it, or if it's in the middle of a battle scene, that gives it certain context as opposed to they're calling someone a mean word. So that's 3 pearls. And then 4 pearls is, of course, the mother of all bad words, the F word, but also the B word, C word, any word that's used. Again, it's also about context. So if it's used in a really derogatory way, or very explicit or frequent. What's that one movie where it's used like 140 times, the F word? Like Goodfellas or something like that?
Oh, maybe.
Anyway, if it's something like that where it's every other word, or again, it's used really derogatorily, then that's 4 pearls.
Right. And then for our last scale is our violence scale. So 0 pearls, there's no violence in it. It's tame. Everything's okay. Everyone's friends. Second, if there's 1 pearl to be clutched, that means that there might be a reference to someone beating somebody up, or to guns, or to hunting, or to war. Now, a lot of these are all going to be within context, because if you're talking about war, there will be reference of violence, and that's not gratuitous, that's necessary, and you can't really write a book about war without making known that there was violence. It's not going to have the same impact, or like a Holocaust story, or a story of genocide. So these things, they're important to mention, but they do fall on the scale. And then if there's 2 pearls to be clutched, that's if there's descriptions of someone getting beat up, or someone's using weapons. Maybe if there's death, depending on how it's used, that would fall in there. Also, certain levels of abuse might fall in there, even though abuse is probably going to be higher up on the scale, but that's where it's first going to be brought in. And then 3 pearls clutched means that there is descriptive violence within the context of the story, as in war. So someone gets their head blown off, that's part of the war. But it depends how long then that description is sat on. How much time do we have to sit with that description versus if we say it and move on? And also if there's any reference to rape. That is 3 full pearl necklaces being clutched. And then the last level is if there is any explicit violence or rape, or specifically gratuitous violence. So like probably any Tarantino film
Yeah,
would fall into
absolutely.
that.
So that's basically what we're going to do. We want to give you one example so that you understand the rating system. And we're going to use one of my favorite book series of all times, probably one of your favorite book series of all times. Only one person in the world who is sitting right next to me doesn't think this. And it's, of course, Harry Potter. Elle does not love Harry Potter. So
Can't handle it.
we'll use it as the example. So we never have to talk about it again, though I'm sure it will come up. But it's a good reference point for everyone. So if we were rating Harry Potter, and I'll use the series as a whole instead of one particular book. So in terms of language, I'm going to say that it's a 0. I can't remember a single instance of there being an inappropriate word, but it might be a 1 because there might be a damn that I'm forgetting from one of the later books. So we'll say language-wise, Harry Potter, the series, is at a 1. Violence-wise, say it's somewhere between a 2 and a 3, so maybe a 2.5, because as you probably know, at the end there's a huge battle scene, and at one point someone gets their ear blown off, people are killed, so there is violence and death, but it is usually within the context of this larger, either the final battle or this war being waged of good versus evil. So there's violence, but it should be there. So Harry Potter violence is 2.5, and then romance, it's at a 2. There's a lot of kissing and a lot of talk about crushes, especially in the later book when they grow up to be teenagers, but it's not too explicit. They're kissing, and we know they're kissing, but they're not doing more than that, and it's not too descriptive. So it's about a 2 for romance. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pick a series or a book or a TV show or movie, and we'll give you the ratings. We'll probably give specific examples of why it gets those ratings, and then you can go off to the library and rent it if you want to or not. So that's it for us. We have to fix a leak in the basement.
Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you next time.